like, because this is sensational.
Oh man. What a big car, man.
Big car. They made it even bigger.
They're only starting up and they're just looking.
Ah.
Oh man.
So we're 5 days into this madness already, and to make up for the 2 days of being drunk and hungover and lazy, we decided to absolutely binge on tuning shops. So while we were in the hotel, we made a list of all of our favorite tuning shops that were local, and we decided to just hit them one after another. And let me just say now that that's actually quite tough to do, because each one of these shops is somewhere you'd want to spend the whole day, but like one after another, we'd just go in. And we should have rang ahead with a lot of these places. Like, we really just chanced it to see what would happen, but one after another. Like, first we went to Car Factory AI, which they have the hot version N2 TRD A86 that Tsuchiya drives. But it's pretty cool that she actually has the shop over 20 years, and she builds a lot of really cool race cars, and they do a lot of 86 restoration and stuff. But I've always wanted to visit that shop. They're featured heavily in hot version. The amount of stuff there is unbelievable. I felt bad because they were in the middle of their work day, and I wanted to see the TRD N2 Tsuchiya car, but she moved everything out of the way and took it down off the lift for us to have a look at it. And yeah, wow. We had a look around. We didn't want to stay for too long because, you know, these people were working. It was like a Tuesday, I guess, or whatever. And yeah, we kind of just walked into these places, and I can totally understand, you know, if you're working and stuff, and then these foreigners just show up like, hey. So it's not advised to do that, but we kind of just did it because we never really knew where we'd be. So we kind of just were like, oh, let's just try this place. And some people were really nice to us, and some people were busy or didn't, you know, we didn't expect everyone to greet us with open arms. The owner, she was super nice to us. She had really good English, and she couldn't believe that we traveled all the way from Ireland, went to 86 Festival. She actually organised the 86 Festival also, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we didn't stay for too long. We didn't want to hold them up. After that then, we hit Jay's Racing, incredibly famous worldwide shop for Hondas. They were a little less friendly to us because they see a lot of international visitors. But after about 10 minutes, he kind of knew that we were pretty, legit. We weren't, annoying or anything. I don't know. He just sussed us out. We got a good vibe off us. We showed him the Jay's Racing CRX in Ireland and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And he brought us for a quick tour of the garage, even though they were closed.
See this on the internet. Just put in the blog, because this is sensation. My brain is.
Thank you so much, man. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You really appreciate it. Yeah. Got to see the Jay's Racing S2000, which is iconic car from the Kansai Toge in hot version. Yeah, what a place.
We passed some shop with a couple of R34 GTRs outside, and we went in, and there was, I think, an old 300ZX in there, a couple of Skylines, and there was some lady in there, and she came out and she ended up telling us that, like, I was like, really nice fenders, front wings on the R34, and she was like, "Oh yes, I designed, these are my fenders," and I was like, "You make these fenders?" She's like, "Yes, this is my design. I produced these." I was like, fucking Japan. We took pictures of everything. And then we left, and it was raining outside, and our car was like a couple of 100 meters up the road. Because it was raining, she chased us out of this little tuning shop, Real Factory M, and we're like, "Oh shit, what did we do wrong?" She just chased us up the road and gave us umbrellas. We were like, "Oh, how do we give you back the umbrellas?" She's like, "Oh no, keep the umbrella, keep the umbrella." It's just, yeah, stuff like that just happens in Japan. They are so nice.
It's got a few umbrellas. You're one.
Yeah, she's first out.
From Real Factory M.
She said, "Here, have some umbrellas." Come on, Ruben.
This is her car. This is her personal little machine.
The main place that we wanted to go to that day, because I actually couldn't believe the place was still operational, was Signal Auto. So growing up, we're the generation from the millennium, so the millennium scene from Japan that we would have seen through the magazines and stuff were shops like Signal Auto and like Veilside and some of the older brands you don't really see around anymore. Signal Auto were huge in like 2002, 2003, whatever. They actually brought some cars to Ireland for D1. They have the iconic splash on the gold cars. You might have seen the Drifter X videos and stuff, but they have a pearlescent R34 that they sent to America for Formula D. Huge shop from back in the day. A lot of drag racing, drifting. Yeah, I couldn't believe the shop was actually still in existence. So we just chanced it and drove up there, and yeah, it was amazing. I can't believe they're still there. It's still the original shop, because I went back looking at some of the footage and you can see that the Skylines were actually out the front. They still had their transporter and it had the pearlescent paint to match the Skyline. But the manager that worked there couldn't believe that we were up there, and I guess people don't visit Signal Auto anymore. Maybe they don't realize that it's still there. But they had kind of a memorabilia room upstairs, which was the owner's office, and he let us go up for a look around. The company has such a rich history. It's probably one of the most famous tuning shops to people outside of Japan. And it's cool that it's still going, but it's kind of sad that they don't have their cars anymore, you know, that they've kind of wound down over the years. But that definitely got very nostalgic for us, just being in Signal Auto, all the years of watching them in DVDs and all stuff over the years, trickling down on the internet. It was unbelievable to see that place in real life. And it's cool that it's still going. They do all their own paints and stuff as well, so it was really nicely laid out, very slick garage. They gave us long sleeves and gave us loads of stickers. They couldn't believe that we were up there, and I thought that was nuts because this was one of the biggest shops 10 years previous, and they were blown away that foreigners were here. So I don't know, it was a very nice experience seeing that place, and it was definitely on the bucket list. So cool to tick somebody's shops off the list, like doing them all one after another is kind of heavy on the brain, but this is the only way we get to see this stuff, one after another, just tuning shop after tuning shop, and it didn't stop there. Many might know Tra-Kyoto. They do the infamous line of aero parts, which is Rocket Bunny, which has gotten a lot of love and hate over the years. I personally love the original S13, the Rocket Bunny one. I had it as my desktop as like a teenager. I mean, that car like definitely broke the internet and then the world because everybody had that kit and then it was replicated into oblivion. Miura-san, you can love or hate his stuff, but he definitely injected like a fresh take on car stuff over the last few years in an otherwise stagnant world. I know we all reminisce and love all the stuff from the past, but it was nice to see someone do something different with cars. And it definitely kicked off the whole over fender thing that people also love and hate now. But I think, you know, things like that are definitely needed in the car scene. And I've got a lot of respect for Miura-san. I think he's a really cool guy, and he just welcomed us with open arms. Like, we rocked up to Tra-Kyoto, and I really only went there just to see the S13 because I knew it was still outside. I didn't even care about going into Rocket Bunny. I know that's kind of mean, but I didn't expect him to bring us in. But when we got there, like, just wanted to have a look at the S13. It was out in the street. That was almost enough for me, but we got out to have a look around. The guy that works there came out, opened up the shutters, showed us the other cars he has. Then he was like, oh, it's your lucky day. Miura-san is inside. If you want to call in and say hello.
Oh man,
The colours are good.
wow.
It's like Rockman's, isn't it?
Yeah, looks like a American IMSA race.
And we went inside, and yeah, it was mad. It was like he knew us or something. Come on in, guys. Like, good to see you. Like, this is one of the most famous guys in the car world. A lot of people probably don't even actually know what he looks like. They just know of Rocket Bunny because they think the company is Rocket Bunny, but it's Tra-Kyoto. Like, it's been around for a really long time. It's a nondescript building. He used to actually race on the Kanjo with a lot of people back in the day. Like, one of the most influential men in the car world in at least the last 10 years. Brought us in, sit us down. We're just hanging out with him. He's showing us all his new designs on the exact computer where he does all the 3D modeling of. He showed us the new 86 just there, showing us all different colors that he'd do, and we're all just like, yeah, that's great.
I don't know, he just clicked with us for some reason, and we just felt at home there, and he felt really comfortable with us, and it was just this weird, like, really nice experience.
What's that? The amount of trends this guy has created right here on this table is absolutely crazy.
This is exactly why we came to Japan, to taste the culture that we adore, and then for all these guys that would welcome us with open arms and bring us in around and treat us like friends is, I don't know what was happening on that trip, but he brought us in around the back. To see him just stand next to his machine and just pose next to a machine that kind of changed the car scene forever, because everybody does the over fender stuff now, and I remember the original Rocket Bunny kit, like it's a nice kit, it's actually aged quite well, and it was definitely just made on that machine, and there he is just standing there. Here's my shed. Very humble guy. If you met him, you wouldn't think he had a cent to his name, kind of just a cool, humble guy. I love that the shop has no description on it.
Yeah.
It made me really like Tra-Kyoto and the whole Rocket Bunny Pandem thing, because he told us, the other guy brought us up and showed us the rest of the warehouse. Everything is done in-house. They make all their stuff in that small collection of buildings. There's only 4 people that work for the company, and it's a big operation. They send stuff all over the world. Everything is designed in one building and then molded and shipped out then in another building. And 4 people manage that entire operation, and I don't know, I just had such a respect for this place. They were nice guys. What they do I think is cool, you know. You can say what you want about it, obviously everyone has divided opinions about that stuff, but really nice guy, cool place, cool style, very down to earth.
How's your brain?
Not good.
This is crazy that they come from here, like. Over fender the world, huh? That's crazy. Already made, ready to go. I haven't even seen an A90 Super yet. This is nuts, man. 4 people operation. Like, for one of the biggest brands in the world.
Sorry, Josh.
You're a #1 customer, USA, yeah?
Yes, version 1.5 for drift.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
cool. This is for a drift car in America?
Yes.
Man, you guys must be so busy.
Yes.
I didn't think it was such a small operation.
He didn't have to do that. There was no reason for him to do that at all. Like, we were just 3 Joe Soaps that just came in off the street, like, hey, how are you? But I have a lot more respect for Tra-Kyoto than I ever had now. Like, knowing that a nice, genuine guy that's out to try and do something different is behind it. He reminded me a lot of Nikai from RWB. Similar kind of people, you know. Very honoured to have experienced, you know, that kind of a situation.
This place closes in 10 minutes. Well, probably like 2 minutes, and they've got the Christmas tunes playing, and our heads are fucking melted. Fuck 'em.
Fuck.
Carland 86 is a very famous shop. They're famous for making the official Initial D car for the movie and replicas. They churn them out a lot. They used to be featured a lot in all the 86 publications over the years. I know the lads are probably sick of seeing 86s at this point, because we've been to 86 Festival and we've been to Car Factory AI the day before. Nonetheless, we had a look around. It's pretty cool to see that many nice 86s just all casually parked in a little car park. the Carland 86 place is like this little prefab at the back, so it seems like a real temporary setup, but it was crazy seeing the prices. Like one of the cars there was 40 grand. And as we do as Irish people, we were climbing under them, taking a look, checking the pockets, checking the sills, making sure they're worth 40,000 euros. But it's crazy seeing where this stuff is going. Like the prices, even in the last couple of years since we've made this video, holy shit, things are getting out of control. And like that car that was 40 grand in 2019, I don't know how much it is in 2021. Could be 60 grand. So if you want initial D spec 86, Carland is the place to go. We went to Phoenix Power next. So Phoenix Power is another super high-end shop, kind of like Top Secret. They tune the best of the best. Pretty amazing to see brand new Japanese supercars being tuned with the greatest parts that are available on the market. The wheels, the seats, the tires, everything in there was just next tier kind of stuff for the wealthy businessmen in Japan that can afford to build and race very expensive cars. Around the corner then was an old school shop that Kimiura asked us to go and check out. It was called Rose Auto, and it was his old friend that restores and races old 240Zs and old Bluebirds and stuff. He didn't appear to be there, or probably he was hiding because he saw us. Probably didn't want to talk to us, I'm not sure. Such a cool place to see. It was the total contrast of Phoenix Power because they were the latest, greatest tech, and just the block behind them was just all the original old school stuff. There was a GC10 hidden in the back, a couple of K12 Gulf N1 race cars, which was a bit mad. There was a lot of really interesting stuff there, and it was right on the side of the street, which was weird, literally just off the footpath. But we just had a little nose around, didn't want to hang around for too long, but it was nice to see the classic shop. Yeah, Kyoto is cool. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff to explore, but we didn't hang around for too long. We decided to hit the road and head back towards Osaka.
Come on back, come on back, come on back, come on back. Whoa! Okay, that's okay.
Came to Mecca Dock. Nobody's home.
Not here. It's a guy making muffins.
You know, you don't get lucky with every shop. People always ask us after we made the last video, like, how do you see these places? How do you do this? But we just kind of look for it on Google Maps and then just drive to it and then kind of go in and be friendly and not stick cameras in people's faces and try and communicate with them first and ask them if it's okay. Shashin, okay? Like, just that's all we kept doing, or all I kept doing.
That 34 just sitting in there.
Some of you guys would be definitely familiar with Trial, but for the people that aren't, Trial are one of the largest aftermarket tuning shops in Japan. They have a massive complex just on the outskirts of Osaka, and we knew that place would be open, so that was next on the list. If you're from our generation, you definitely know about Trial. They were quite famous in the magazines back about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and Max Power went there. They went Beast from the East and all that kind of stuff, so Trial has always been on the hit list. Just 5 doors up is a shop that has one of the most famous 34s from back in the day, Auto Select. They have a yellow FD, they've had some yellow time attack cars over the years, but they have an R34 GTR race car, which I've always wanted to see. It has the shark graphic up the side of it. I couldn't believe that shop is actually right up from Trial. I was totally unaware of that. We kind of walked in and your man was like, whoa, ooh, he didn't really know what to expect because we just kind of wandered in. But after a minute or two, he was kind of like, oh, okay. He didn't want us to film any customer cars and stuff, but I got a little glimpse of the 34. He still has it, which was nice. Someday, I'm sure, some place in the UK will import it and it'll be gone. It seems to be happening with everything, but for now, it's still there.
We'd been to 6 or 7 tuning shops that day, and this was the last one out of all of them. So I was very eager to get here, and I was kind of feeling that maybe it was a bit too late. I think it was like 10 to 6 in the evening or something. It was the sun was going down.
Just as we were getting to feed the Kansai Toge hot version FD, which you've probably seen, you know, many a time, was casually going to get food in the shop.
Ruben's driving down the road in the Alphard, and then fucking, whoa, stop, panic. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? What did I do now? Like, fucking relax. There's cars to the left, there's cars to the right. Let us out, quick, go. RX-7. I'm like, okay lads, relax.
Imagine you have a favorite car, like a car you follow all the time and you watch on YouTube all the time, and it's your kind of go-to to look at stuff. To see this car, like this dream car, sitting at a set of lights, like just like several feet away.
I'm trying to drive here, so I just stopped in the middle of the road. The lads hopped out, see ya, bye, left me with the van on the like 6 lanes away from, and the lads are just running across the road, beep, just in front of traffic.
And we had a bit of a meltdown because I thought that they were closed maybe or something, so Ruben was trying to park the car, and then me and Flip just ran across the road like idiots, like children. And it was just the guy that owns the place and his son, and they were just getting some food and maybe heading back, and we were trying to take photos and just being total tourists and creeping your man out. And what's weirder is we were going to go there in a few minutes, so we were like, oh, see you in a minute, like, and these people were like, what the fuck are these fellas doing?
Oh my god, some of the best cars.
Neil, I was going to run through traffic. Like,
Why didn't you just... Oh man. He's just going to the shop to get something to eat in it.
I can't even begin to kind of tell you how that feels. Like, it is unbelievable. Yeah, he was looking at us going, what are the lads doing, you know? Like, we were super fanboying like at this thing. This is like one of the coolest cars ever, and to see it just reversing out of a spot at a 7-Eleven.
It's probably like the coolest FD, one of my favorite cars in the world, and it was just going to the shop. As it should, it's a car.
And then we followed him to his shed.
There it was again, the guys were still open. They obviously worked till late. The whole crew was just doing their thing. The 2 cars were there. They're just parked in the most idyllic spot for a photograph you could ever want. Like, so looked around these cars. Your man was like, yeah, here's the weirdos again, you know, the guys that fucking nearly killed themselves. Hot version, the Kansai battles or the Toge battles, you'll see them like, there's a championship and there's a leaderboard and whatever. This car is like, the last time I watched it, I guess, is the #1 car. Like, this won the last Kansai Toge battle series. But what was really cool is, like, less than 24 hours ago, we were just in Jay's Racing, and that was second. So we got to see #1 and #2 Kansai Toge battle cars within 24 hours. Like, that's fairly amazing, like, you know. just inside, speaking of the Kansai Toge, they have a lesser class, and another car that competes in that was just inside the door. It was one of the new MX-5s, and it has a stock 13B from an RX-8 in it, and that was just sitting just inside the door. And it was kind of weird because it must have been the young guy's car, because he was more interested in showing me that car than the RX-7 that was just outside. Obviously that's where your brain goes, but he was like, hey, check this out, RX-8 13B in an MX-5. And it worked out for me as well, because there was an oil cap that I wanted, and that was on the engine in the MX-5, so that was all my translating done. I just pointed at the oil cap and like said, you know, how much is this?
Life made. Oil cap.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To go there and to see their cars and to see their products and how they're working, and just nice guys having the crack. Yeah, that was a very good day for me.
We'd seen so much stuff in the last 24 hours, so I'm so glad I even documented this stuff, because man, it's hard to process seeing that much cool shit. Like, we literally binged on some of our favorite tuning shops, and just trying to do all that in the space of 24 hours is very difficult to actually absorb. And you know, it only weeks later do you start actually going, wow, oh yeah, I can't believe we went to Fujita Engineering. It's hard to know how long this stuff will be around for, and your expectations are like exceeded. You have an idea of what you think it'll be, and then you get there and then it's even more incredible than it was. I usually start hyperventilating and get sweaty and weird, and I have to go back in and then walk back out and take a couple of attempts to process what's happening. So I'm more excited about meeting cars than people. I don't know what that says about me, but if there was a famous actor there, I wouldn't freak out. But if Fujita Engineering car is there, I'm like, ooh, look at you. So I don't know. So it's unusual. Like, I mean, this trip was just relentless. Just wave after wave of just the best stuff. Everything we wanted to do. Like on the last trip, we were on another schedule. Like, it was a failed plan, but with this, we were making our own plan as we went along. And this was our time to absolutely try and see as much stuff as we could in the amount of time that we were there. And by God, did we see a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. He's good.
I had to collect some parts for my car. That was another thing that we were working into the journey. What's funny is Rob was storing an 8.6 hood in his apartment for like nearly a year for me that he had bought. His girlfriend was getting pretty upset with it just being in their kitchen. So the bonnet came with us on the journey. So luckily we had an Alphard, because otherwise I don't know how it would have fitted, but I could tell the lads weren't too excited about this big stupid gold square just going to live with us for the rest of the trip.
Fucking loads of space in on the back seats, so. Yeah, they're all the VM magazines, so. It's great. No. Tetris with the Alphard.
This was a hood or a bonnet that I wanted for my car for, I don't know, 10 plus years. And Rob was nice enough to give it to me. He had bought it. I was trying to buy it in Japan on Yahoo Auctions, and he also bid on it at the same time. And then he decided to just give it to me. He was like, hey, look, you can take it, but on one condition, that you come and collect it in person.
The hole in the scoop, we could see out the rear view mirror maybe.
It'd have function then.
We met up with Rob again and we drove around Osaka for hours, and his little Wagon-R was, we all got a spin in it, just this mad machine. It's like, we'd much rather be out in the Wagon-R that night than the 8.6. It was just like spinning wheels.
It's still pretty good. Well, my foot is snug there. look into when it bounces.
Slammed, fully static, like no airbags or any of that kind of stuff. This thing was on coilovers and you could barely fit your foot underneath it, and drove around for a few hours. Just got lost in Osaka, nearly ran out of fuel. It was a cool night. Pulling gears in the Wagon-R was hilarious. It's very rare to get them in manual, and because it was just slammed on little equips, it was just spinning wheels in the way.
All the big cities, like the roads are elevated. It's like a video game. It's literally like Gran Turismo or Midnight Racer or something. So we were just like following this little key car around till he ran out of petrol. And then it was too late to get a hotel. So you can't get a hotel. Oh, you want to stay in a love hotel? Sexy time? No, we don't want to stay in a love hotel. We just want to sleep in a hotel.
Yeah, it was a cool night. Just a cool night hanging out with one of the lads in Osaka. It was our home at this point. We started getting used to the city because we stayed out too late again. As you've learned, you need to book a hotel before like 9 o'clock, otherwise game over. But Rob got his girlfriend to speak in Japanese, and the hotels that aren't on booking or any of these things for tourists, you got us a capsule hotel, and we wanted to stay in one of them for the journey, so it was really funny. They're actually surprisingly comfortable, and yeah, we had a funny night in one of them. Said goodnight to Rob, and yeah, that was the last time we'd see Rob on the trip. We were going to get up that morning then and just hit the road.
Alright.
Pacific. Sorry. They just want grass all the time, don't they?